Alright guys, we just got to NutraBio headquarters. Brandon's gonna make us take his Nootropics stack, and I'm a little nervous. This guy knows his shit, but his Nootropic usage is expansive, so I'm gonna be dialed in today.
What's going on, PricePlow Nation? Mike here, and I'm with Brandon DaCruz, who we've already met on the channel. Today's Monday morning of August 12th. It's a day in the life of Brandon and Mark and Dan and all them here at the factory. So what we're gonna do is we got to get things started right with a good nootropic stack. Brandon, you're getting big in the biohacking. I can see the bright light over here and everything.
Yeah, setting up my circadian rhythm, making sure that we're exposed to all this junk light. So I want to make sure that I'm getting my circadian patterns and rhythms going, and it just gets me in the zone, gets me focused. You can look over here. I always have research studies pulled up. So let's not zoom in because it's a new product, that I'm working on. So let's not disclose too much. But a big part of what we do here at NutraBio is both enhancing cognitively as well as physically. So really, what we want to do is first get our minds going, because that's the most important thing. You can build your body all you want. You can help facilitate recovery, help build muscle tissue. But if you haven't built the biggest muscle of all, your brain, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So essentially, what I do every morning is, you can ask anyone in the office, start with a nootropic stack. So I'm in a fasted state. I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I'm trying to increase BDNF, really trying to increase mental acuity. So today we're going to take Mike through. We're going to see what he wants. Now I tell this to all our customers, and this is why a lot of people ask us, why do you have 300 plus SKUs? And it's really because we want to be able to cater towards that person. Everyone's an individual. Some people have a low stim tolerance. Some people have overstimulated adrenals, so they need higher stim tolerance. Some people have a sensitivity to caffeine, and some people are a quick metabolizer, so it gets right out of their system, say 3 to 4 hours, where there's most people with 6-hour half-life. So with that being said, I'll do my stack in the morning. Mike,
I'm curious to
follow me along.
Right. So yeah, my goal is, a lot of times, like my nootropic stack for when I'm going to be on YouTube, a lot of times I want to get going. But today I'm the more of the interviewer, so I'm going to be listening. I don't want to be chatty Cathy. So I'm going to go a little bit lower on the stimulants. I've already also had like half a cup of coffee, so not a big deal. So I'm going to go a little bit lower on the stimulants and a little bit higher on stuff that's going to just wear me in a little bit more, so that I don't drift off and everything. So I'm looking at like a little bit of the cholines and all that. So and then a little bit, I want to be toned down a little bit. So I'm thinking KSM 66 ashwagandha, which I saw right there. Gotcha. It's going to be part of the stack, and then probably sip it down with some alpha EAA just because it's delicious, and I get a little bit more of the choline and ashwagandha too. But kind of curious to see what you do first.
Okay.
And you're gonna be so you guys are gonna be more of the talkers today. So keep that in mind.
Okay. So every single day it differs. If I have meetings or I have sales calls, I'm generally going to do a little bit lesser stimulants. If I have a really active day where I'm running around visiting actual accounts, I'm gonna do higher stimulants. It's gonna help me get going. It's gonna help me with physicality, but also the mental aspect. And right now I'm in a dieting phase, pretty low in calories, so it definitely does help with appetite suppression, as well as just helping to enhance those mental gaps that happen when you're at a caloric deficit.
Diet fog, all that.
So let's go with, first and foremost, I would start off with some type of coffee. I usually do flavored coffee, but I'm trying to get the polyphenolic compounds and the antioxidants that are within coffee. So this is gonna be my caffeine source for the day. Generally, an average cup of coffee is between 80 and 120 milligrams of caffeine. So we're looking at that sweet spot. Let's say an average of 100 milligrams. So enough, but not too overbearing. Always go with L-tyrosine. So I'm looking at a 1 to 2 gram dose. I'm trying to increase dopamine production, and this is just one of my favorite ingredients of all time. So I'm someone that I produce low amounts of dopamine, so I need something to really stimulate that.
Now, how do you know you produce low amounts of dopamine?
Neurotransmitter testing.
Okay,
Yeah,
sweet,
so
you've done it.
I had that done actually when I was a kid. So I got into supplementation at 12 due to the fact that I had ADD, but I also had other cognitive things that were hurting me in school. I was in gifted and talented programs, but I was noticing that it was taking me a very long amount of time to read and interpret things as compared to the average person. So my parents didn't want me to go the Adderall route, the Ritalin route. They did try to prescribe me that, and my parents were very into homeopathic medicine. So I started with your L-tyrosines, and I started with little doses of caffeine, and then during high school, when everyone went the Adderall route, and in college, I went the racetam family route. So this has been honestly a lifelong passion, and it's why when I came here, and we started looking into nootropics, I was very dead set on certain ingredients, and alpha GPC is one of them. We're going to grab that out. So today's stack's going to be L-tyrosine. We're going to do some KSM 66 to lower cortisol and also help with stress reduction. This I use, honestly, this is my #1 favorite product. I have up the dose on this up to 3,600 milligrams. I do not suggest that. So that's 6 capsules a day. I will tell you that is in a contest prep phase. I will use that the last 3 days before a show.
Really?
I also rid myself of water.
Really?
It induces natural diuresis because you're lowering cortisol.
That's true.
levels.
Yeah,
Same
that's
thing
like,
as,
we never
using-
like cite that research because we're always talking about cortisol and everything, and everything else, testosterone and stuff. I've maxed out at 1,800 milligrams in a day.
Yeah,
so
and
you're
it's amazing. So generally, my maintenance dose is 1,200 milligrams. That's 2 capsules.
Right.
I do one in the morning post-fasted cardio because that's when your cortisol levels are highest, and I do one post-workout. To obviously, you're getting that huge secretion of cortisol. But we also talked about how I train at night, so I'm also trying to down-regulate myself, get myself in a parasympathetic nervous system state.
Okay. So
In addition-
how many are you doing right now then?
Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 capsules, which is 1,000 milligrams of L-tyrosine, 100 milligrams of caffeine, 1 capsule of KSM-66, so 600 milligrams. I'm also gonna do 2 capsules of vinpocetine, which I generally would use with food because it does cause some stomach upset to some people. But for me, I've been taking this product and these ingredients forever. This is 20 milligrams. You can use between 20 and 40 milligrams per day. So generally what I tell people to do, assess your dosage, start with 2 capsules per day, spread them out through meals. I'd really like in the pre-workout perimeter, just gonna help with that focus factor and things of that sort. Really good for memory enhancement and cognition. This is a beta. Not going to say what it is, but it helps with peripheral tissue to the brain, so it's going to help with blood flow. So a lot of these things, it's hard for them to cross the blood-brain barrier. So this is going to help that. It is a polyphenolic compound, so I do like taking in the morning as well.
This has none of these 3 in there?
None of those things. It is a singular ingredient, but it is
okay.
a patented ingredient. It has yet to be used in the sports nutrition realm, but it has been used in the biohacker, your Ben Greenfield type of stuff.
Yes. Okay.
So-
Thinking. What is it?
Today, I'm not going to use, but a lot of times I do use synephrine.
Right.
This is something that we use in our products itself, but I would have to use it in a pre-made mix like our thermofuel. Right now, I don't want 200 milligrams of caffeine, but I do want, generally in the morning, I do want about 30 milligrams of synephrine to get that active dose. I would have to at least use 2 capsules of the thermofuel, which would be 133 milligrams of caffeine because it'd be 2 out of 3 capsules.
Right. Normally, I love that ingredient. That was one that I was thinking I'm keeping that on the shelf too because I didn't want to get stemmed up any more than I needed to.
And just to clarify, synephrine, that's 30 milligrams yielded.
Yes.
Cool.
So then from there, we're gonna pull out my
There you
bag of
go.
tricks. We got some beta samples, some stuff I'm gonna hide because it has the lab testing on it and the manufacturers.
Vitamins. I see.
Got some vitamins. I got some
Ginseng.
Panache ginseng. Got some theanine, which I always put. Anytime that I use caffeine, I use
Right.
theanine because I'm trying to enhance the focus. But also, I'm someone that's not a high stim guy. Even in a contest prep phase, the max that I go through out a day, which is elongated, it's in 3 different dosages, is 400 milligrams caffeine. So 100 pre-fasted, 100 midday, or maybe before my I always do this mid-morning focus stack. That's 100 milligrams caffeine right there, and then 200 pre-workout.
Man, so even when you're dying on contest
Yes.
prep, you're only at 400.
But I also
I'd be up to 600 at that point.
I've gotten cortisol testing. I've seen that I've dysregulated it and I've downregulated my
Right.
adrenals by using too many stimulants. And that's, people think that in the fat loss phase you need higher stimulants, but that's more of a physical dependence. Really, if you're over secreting cortisol, you're not gonna be burning fat. You know what I mean? So catecholamine production does help with fat loss, but it could inhibit it in sort of a
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we mentioned before the video, Caf Plus. So I was
Yes.
thinking my caffeine source was going to be Caf. Yeah, there we go. So you have 2 forms of caffeine in here, but then the L-theanine alongside,
So
a pretty
very
good dose
similar.
of L-theanine. So yeah, I'm gonna not take that because I'm taking that for
Absolutely.
myself.
So then from there, we're going to go to my favorite ingredient, which is going to be the alpha
Boom.
GPC.
Yes.
So Mike was referring to before, we want to help with acetylcholine production because it's going to help with that focus component. Alpha GPC has been the most effective for that. I do use in the morning just 1 capsule, which is 300 milligrams. Pre-workout, I do use the clinical dose of 600 milligrams just because I'm trying to get that power output. Now this is yielding 300 milligrams. This
Right.
is a 50% yield.
You got to watch out for some of those labels out there on Alpha GPC.
A lot of people don't. So we just put 300 milligrams on here. That is a 600 milligram dose of alpha GPC, but because it is a 50% standardized extract, you are getting 300. So just keep that in mind. A lot of products, they'll label it 600. They're not putting that it's a 50% standardized extract, and you're really getting 300.
Yeah, with this label, you get everything, and they're using a different carrier, calcium phosphate, which I think is cool. But my next question: are you able to swallow all those pills in one go?
One go around. Let's try it out. First, let me make my coffee.
Yeah,
so
right.
Ben, you cut it right here.
Are you serious?
Well, they'll be behind the scenes, but they're not going
Oh,
to
right.
be
Yeah.
there.
So let's take this down. You and I will get ourselves prepped.
Is this a powder or a cap?
This is powder.
Okay. Do we need it?
I actually took my dose already, so.
You getting this?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do 2 grams which is
Brown,
the clinical
orange?
dose for the day. Yeah, it's
Where's that stir?
yeah. We're gonna have spoons right over there.
Yeah.
So Mike, with this, it's going to help with getting the ingredients that you have in the alpha EA, so the vitacholine, the alpha GPC, as well as the ashwagandha, into the blood-brain, like crossing the blood-brain barrier much more effectively, which is not an issue with alpha GPC, but with vitacholine, we do know that it's tough to cross the blood-brain barrier. So
How's this gonna alter the taste profile? I should have.
it is herbal. So I'm going to tell you, we knocked it out of the park with the alpha EA. We were able to flavor the KSM, but because this is a raw material from one of our raw material suppliers, they don't. I asked them to take everything out. We get it pure raw, so it's not terrible.
No, if anything, it adds texture. It adds a touch of grit.
Think about it. It's a polyphenol.
Right.
So think of other polyphenols. Your berries,
A bit of
antioxidant
aftertaste.
rich
No, okay.
Blueberries, stuff like that. So it's
No,
Not
I've
bad.
tasted way worse chemicals than that. Nah, that didn't even bother me. So what I saw in the supplement closet there, creatine monohydrate. There's a lot of evidence for that in supporting cognition. Nothing crazy
that.
or whatever, but when are you taking, as an athlete, when are you taking your creatine? Everyone's got
Okay.
their opinions. It really doesn't matter, but I'm
So
kind
I
of
take
curious.
it twice per day. I take 7 grams per day. I take the first dose, actually in one of two forms. So I'll either use CGP with my hydration mix that I use before I have breakfast. The reason I'm doing it while I'm having breakfast is because I'm going to be eating carbohydrates. So I do cream rice in the morning, so that insulin secretion is going to help shuttle the
I thought you were
creatine into
fasting.
the cell. Well, a lot of times I do fast, but I won't drink the actual mixture. So I'm not going to have any aminos. I won't drink it till my breakfast. So my first meal of the day.
When you're breaking
so even
your
if it's
fast,
12 p.m., it could be 4 p.m., whenever it is. There's a lot of days I do fast 2 days a week. But if I'm not doing the intermittent fast, I'm going to have breakfast around 10:30. So my first mix is going to be alpha EAA. It's going to be actually a lion's mane extract. It's going to be 2 grams of lion's mane. I'm really big into lion's mane.
2 grams, you said?
2 grams, yes, sir. So 2 grams of that, and then I'm also going to have either CGP or sometimes I use pre-stim free, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to get that L-tyrosine. So sometimes I'm like, all right, let me not blow through my production, my supply of this. I'm going to use 1,500 milligrams of the L-tyrosine. There's going to be 3.5 grams of the creatine, 3 grams of creatine, and then 500 milligrams of creatine magnet power. So I'm going to get that in there, and also it's going to help with the shuttling effect.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my first dose, and then I also take creatine pre-workout with pre-stim free. I don't use any pre-workout stimulants within the pre-workout perimeter, because if you actually look at caffeine, this is a misconception about pre-workouts. I'm trying to always educate people on this. A lot of these ingredients, companies and other influencers will say, take your pre-workout 30 minutes before the gym, and now it's become sip it on the way to the gym. Now it's become sip it on your way, your entrance into the gym. Well, a lot of these ingredients take 45 minutes to an hour to even kick in. If you look at the studies on citrulline, to hit peak plasma levels, it takes 60 minutes. So with that being said, if you came and you drank your pre-workout right as you entered the gym, and you only did an hour workout, it's literally peaking as you're leaving.
Right. I think with 30 minutes pre, and we're getting off topic, but with 30 minutes pre, if you really slam it at that point, then it peaks mid-workout, which is when you're starting to get into the heavy stuff. So that's what I think is ideal, but a lot of people aren't doing. So.
Yeah, so I actually separate my stimulant intake.
That makes sense.
I'm saying, I'm not trying to have
so
over secretion of cortisol. So I'll do stimulants 2 hours before my workout. I'll do my pre-workout mixture, which is pre-stim free and alpha EA, an hour before my workout, because I haven't had a meal in about 3 hours at that point. So I'm going to get a flooding of aminos. It's going to help with an energy substrate, and it's also going to have the estrogen that's going to help with the increased bioavailability of the aminos that are in the pre-stim free, as well as in the alpha EA.
All right,
Let's get back to nootropics.
Yeah.
All right, so we're doing, you pick out what you have that. So I have 200 milligrams of L-theanine. It's going to be with my 100 milligrams of caffeine. I'm going to have 1,000 milligrams of L-tyrosine.
Yeah, hook me up with 2 of those. No, yeah, 2 of those.
As many as you want, my friend.
That's 4.
Yeah, 4.
There we go. All right. Limpo.
I'm going to do 300 milligrams of alpha GPC.
KSM, got mine. And am I missing anything? Should I hit an absorb with this?
You don't need it because the estrogen is in the alpha EA.
Oh, right.
You just have.
Yeah, of course.
All right. You ready?
All right.
3.
Cheers.
1, 2, 3.
That was easy for me. So you take a sip before you put the pills in?
Yep.
What? Does
That's
everyone do
that's
that?
my style.
Comment
Just a
below.
little
No
bit.
way. No way.
Just a little bit, and then you chase it down.
Okay, it makes sense. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be like spitting water all over the place if I do that.
Gotta practice. Practice makes perfect.
No need. Interesting. Ben, do you take
I'm
a sip
more
first?
of you, but
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people do what Brandon does.
Really? Comment
Yeah.
below.
Yeah, see,
I'm
what
interested.
camp are you in? Let's
I've
go.
never. Yeah, I honestly haven't seen people do that. Okay, cool. So, anything else to say on this video, or should we?
Let's go on.
Get
to the
amped up
rest.
and get into the-
Now this is gonna take a lot of these ingredients about 15 to 30 minutes to kick in. So we'll be able to get more into the educational content first and foremost. And then when Mike has me running around the office showing about what we do here and how we produce products so quickly, and I need that energy and that amplification and BDNF and mental acuity and cognition and energy as well. That's when we're really gonna get going with these nootropics. So
Boom. All right. So subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come. And then we're going to have Mark Glazier. We're going to talk to Dan. We're going to see a plant tour. So yeah, subscribe and you can check it out on PricePlow.com/NutraBio. In the description here, we will make links to everything that we use here. And sometimes we have coupons, so check it out with PricePlow. Thanks again, Brandon.
Welcome to PricePlow.